The views expressed on this program are those of the producers and individuals appearing on this program and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Sun Prairie Media Center staff, its video service providers, or the staff and elected officials of the City of Sun Prairie.
Hello and welcome to Real Reviews. My name is Jamison Rabbit, and the man joining me to my right is haunted by the ghost of Pat Sajak. His name is Mike Roth.
He is so talented. He's not even dead yet, and he has
You don't
that
think
power.
so?
No.
You don't think that's a robot Pat Sajak out there on your screen every night?
No, I know
Pat
so.
Sajak's been
His
dead for
ghost
20 years.
tells me every day that he is alive.
I don't know.
Who are you going to believe? The guy who thinks he's a robot or the guy who gets haunted by him?
I saw the body, I'm just saying.
You saw the body of the robot that was trying to take over the show.
I wonder what a haunting by Pat Sajak would feel like.
It would feel... I don't know. He makes some bad calls every once in a while.
Yeah.
Did you see the last one where someone was like doing all the words and they said and that's against the rules? You're
Yeah, I
not
hate
supposed
that.
to. That's dumb. That's just dumb.
It's bad form, Pat Sajak.
Very bad form.
But he's still one of our greatest talk show hosts. The Pat Sajak Hour, one of the great talk shows of all
No,
time.
he's not. If he was haunting you, you would change your mind.
All right, fine. Let's talk about some movies, not some terrible game show hosts. And I'm going to get us started with what we have on our streaming spotlight this week. I turned to Netflix for the film Bad Trip from director Kita Sakurai. This is a film made by Eric Andre. It is a mix of Eric Andre's pranks, if you know what he does with his show. It's a mix of his pranks with a scripted comedy. He plays a man named Chris, who has had a crush on Maria, played by Michaela Conlon, since they were in high school. And after running into her, he decides he has to chase after her and profess his love to her. So he and his best friend Bud, played by Lil Rel Howery, take off on a road trip to chase after her, and they take Bud's sister's car, his sister Trina, played by Tiffany Haddish. However, Trina has broken out of jail and she wants her car back. So that's the plot. To hang kind of all of the various hidden camera pranks that they do on unsuspecting people. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of a highlight package of Eric Andre's hidden camera stuff. Like, I think he's hilarious in what he does. And this is a lot of him and Lil Rel Howery kind of going around the country, almost Borat style, pulling pranks on unsuspecting civilians. Uh-huh. And then melding that into a scripted comedy along the way. And it feels they pull it off pretty well.
I'm actually really surprised because most of the movies that I've seen exactly like this, like Bad Grandpa, The Impractical Jokers, the last Jackass movie, they are really hard to get through.
Yeah.
I'm
There's
one
a
of the
level
few
of
people
talent
that didn't
there.
like the first Borat movie.
Eric Andre is very talented, though. He's really funny. And Lil Rel Howery they have fun chemistry together. Like, I really enjoy the two of them. And Tiffany Haddish, what is curious to me was Tiffany Haddish is a fairly big star.
Yeah.
And I was curious, like, well, how is she going through here unnoticed with a lot of people? Mm-hmm. And you kind of see some things in the they do what I love, the credits sequence where they show behind the scenes stuff going on, little gag reel type thing. I miss those. I miss gag reels. And it's fun. I'm really not interested in hashing out like the percentages of like, well, how much of this was real and how many people knew. Like, I don't care. Because I just laughed out loud at several points in this movie. Some of it was very stupid. I laughed out loud at that.
And that gets you more points than most comedies that come out.
Yeah, it feels... I mean, it felt very much like the Borat film. I really liked the first Borat film. And the second one I thought was okay. And it did have Sacha Baron Cohen as an advisor on set for this one to kind of show, like, here's how you kind of navigate dealing with real people.
I think if anybody could get away with it, it's Borat. I mean, he's done it so many times.
Yeah, he's
people
kind of a pro
still
at
don't
that.
recognize him. I don't get it.
He's very good at that. But, I don't know. I enjoyed it. It's fun to laugh. We've kind of said that recently a few times. Like, it's nice to get a breath of, dumb comedy. And I enjoyed it. So I recommend checking out Bad Trip. I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars. It's a fun one. If you enjoy Eric Andre's comedy, you'll definitely enjoy this. So that's what I have for that. As far as our next film, though, it is a mix of a streaming spotlight and a marquee movie.
It is. I saw this at the theater. Unfortunately, the name that I practiced right before the show,
Backwards?
I forgot how to do it again. Directed Nobody.
Wait, no. Wrong order, sir. Hold on.
What did I do?
We're doing it live.
Oh, no!
Godzilla vs. Kong is our next movie. A movie that is both in theaters and on our streaming spotlight. If you watch it on HBO Max, it's your choice. This is the 4th movie in the Monsterverse, sir. We find that Kong has been in a containment unit on Skull Island. They got him in a grid. And it's what's kept these 2 remaining titans apart, the Godzilla and King Kong. But it's failed now, and the humans are transporting Kong across the sea, and that's when Godzilla makes his appearance. And we get a brief fight at sea between the 2 titans, which leads to more battles on and inside the Earth. We have all the human elements at play. They continue to be like the least interesting part of these films to me. It doesn't really matter. This time less so than I think in the last one specifically, in Godzilla, King of the Monsters, whatever. The human element really annoyed me.
Yeah.
This time it was less annoying to me, I think.
I think it's in the second Godzilla movie, they really rolled hard on the human characters, and this really did have a backdrop. There was 2 human stories. One was Team Godzilla. One was,
each of them had their factions that they were helping.
But the action kind of blurred all that terrible plot line.
But one of the things that one of the human characters I did enjoy was this little girl, Gia, who connects. She's been living on the island. Her mom is one of the scientists on Skull Island. She's connected with Kong. She's taught him sign language, and she's able to communicate. And it gives Kong some character and a little humanity. And I've always felt like Kong is a really sympathetic character.
Yeah.
Part of it's because he's a mammal like us, a primate. He can show emotion. But it gave him some range as he's like, I just want to go home.
I agree with you. I think she was awesome. They actually found someone who is deaf and was able to really throw out all this sign language very fluidly. And for someone who's never acted, like a small child, she did fantastic.
Pretty good.
I didn't like the costume they made her wear, but besides that, she was great.
Maybe she dressed herself. You never know.
Nah, I don't think so.
I mean, the heart of this movie is let's get these 2 monsters together.
Sure.
I mean, we've been building to this now for years.
Yeah.
We finally get the 2 of them squaring off for the first time since the 60s was the last time these 2 squared off against each other.
62.
And that's what we're all here for. Just watch Godzilla versus Kong. It's in the title. Curious your thoughts on this film.
I was really hoping for more of the first Godzilla, which I like the human story and I like the fighting. I thought Godzilla was a great film. I did not like the second Godzilla, and I enjoyed King Kong. Not much of a human story, was mostly the action, but I enjoyed King Kong, and I was hoping for more of the first Godzilla and King Kong coming together.
Boy, I'm the opposite of you. I did not like the first Godzilla is my least favorite of these 4.
I loved it. I thought it was like 2 movies put together.
That was my issue, it felt like 2 movies put together.
And it made sense. It felt coherent. I liked how they took risks, but
did you like not seeing Godzilla in that movie, though? He was in for like 12 minutes.
I thought it was fine. I thought it was fine. But either way, when we get around to the second one where they just kind of got less coherent, it was more like, oh, this is going to look awesome. Oh, how are we going to tell the story? Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Let's not do that. And they did that a lot in this one. One particular scene where Godzilla melted through half of the Earth.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, that was your topper. That really is the best he could do, and you started off with that. Don't do that, because now after all this, it's like, just move your head a little faster, Godzilla. Just move it. And I'm really glad they didn't have that Martha moment, which I absolutely love on your Facebook. They didn't make friends over their mother's same name, but at the same time, it was like, this story doesn't make sense. It's just one cool scene after another.
Wait a minute now. These are 2 characters that are born of B movies. These are B movie legends where the story never mattered.
But like
never mattered. And even in the previous films, I feel like the story never mattered because it's all fake science.
Yeah.
And it's human talking about fake things. And none of that mattered. I mean, I'm here. Watch things get punched. Watch monsters fight.
But they even go past the fake science. Of course, Godzilla is fake science. You cannot have something that large, just crush under its own weight. Yeah, but that's an unbelievable thing. I could let it pass. But so many unbelievable things over and over and over again it starts making me go nuts. It's like Transformers.
Wait a minute. You were looking for believable things in Godzilla versus King Kong. You're like, that, but that's not believable.
I want to be able to suspend my disbelief for a little bit.
You should.
And I can't because it was just too dumb. It was way dumb.
I disagree wholeheartedly with you.
You didn't think it was dumb?
No, it's supposed to be dumb, man. When has Godzilla or Kong not been dumb?
But it wasn't.
When?
The very first.
Yeah, 1933.
No.
Yes.
No, not the first Godzilla. The Godzilla first in this series.
I did not care for that movie, especially because I thought it was a mediocre movie.
I thought it was better storytelling.
No, this is the movie that you tell the story to build up to the fight. You tell the singular movies to build up to the big super fight where you get Mecha Godzilla, you get these two fighting each other, and you have the character factions of the humans. They don't really matter. You just bring in these monsters, and you bring in Mecha Godzilla. You get the three fights going on. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed Kong because you see him being a raging beast. You also see him in pain, caring about someone. Mm-hmm. You have Godzilla, the cold-blooded reptile who destroys humanity, even if he's trying to save it. And their fights, I did like how they lured Kong into the Earth as a way of separating the two of them. I thought that was smart. Like we'll tell him this is where his home is, inside the Earth, so that these two will stay apart. Didn't work because Godzilla sniffed them out, and then they're fighting in Tokyo. I love that.
Yeah, the whole Monkey Kingdom and I didn't like that.
It worked for me.
Being able to shoot through half the Earth and get King Kong where he was, it's like
the Earth's hollow, so it doesn't take that much to shoot through it.
You still need to aim a little bit.
Yeah, he did it. He
but
sniffs them out.
Either way, even if you're looking at it as you're taking this too seriously, you should look at it fun. Well, then it should be more like wrestling, where you don't have any story. It's just watching people do action.
I don't know. I think if you came here for the story, I think you came to the wrong movie.
I was looking forward
it's like
to
going
the
to a
first
Fast and Furious movie being like the story didn't make much sense. Like who cares? It's monsters fighting. I didn't come to the story with Pacific Rim. I didn't come for the story. I saw machines fighting monsters, and that's what I got. I did get machines fighting monsters as well as monsters fighting monsters. Yeah. I enjoyed it. I thought that all the money was on the screen. I thought it looked great. I thought the monsters looked great. I thought the fights and the scale of the cities looked great. Kong, his size fluctuates up and down in this movie, which I think is hilarious.
I think the CG was off also.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
Like in the beginning when they're doing the water scenes and stuff, it was subpar compared to what people are doing already. I think it got better later in the movie, the CG, but I lost interest. It felt to me very much like Transformers or most Michael Bay movies.
You're nuts.
This
is way better than any of those.
You can always argue it's a lot of fun and there's a lot of robots fighting and that's what we came for. No. But overall, telling the story is what brings it down.
These characters actually had emotion to them, unlike the robots.
Well, Godzilla had no emotion. King Kong had a little bit of emotion when he had that connection with Jaya. But it didn't become believable. All of a sudden, he becomes...
he has to do
trust that one girl and he knows sign language.
He has to do the rigs in Lethal Weapon, like relocate his shoulder to get back in the fight. Like, he's classic action hero, King Kong. I loved it. I enjoyed that part of it. I don't know. I got everything. It delivered what I wanted out of this movie. I wasn't looking for anything too crazy from it. It delivered pretty much everything I needed. Doesn't try to be anything more than it should be. These are B-movie superstars. It's like going to a Chuck Norris movie. That's what these characters are. They're B-level actors. Yeah. It's like going to a Chuck Norris movie and saying, I didn't really care for the story that much. It's like going to see Bruce Willis and expecting him to put in good acting.
Oh, Bruce Willis does do good acting on occasion.
Have you seen him in the last 20 years?
No, on occasion.
It's been a while since Pulp Fiction came out.
Besides Pulp Fiction, I really liked him in Sixth Sense. But we're not arguing Bruce Willis.
That was more than 20 years ago. All right, let's go to the score, sir. What did you give Godzilla versus Kong?
Give it a 2.
Oof. I'm on the other side of it. I give it 3.5. It's an enjoyable movie. It is playing in theaters and streaming on HBO Max right now. Give it a watch. Go on our social media and let us know what you thought of it. Which way are you going on this one? I say it's good.
I say you're wrong.
All right, well, to each their own. All right, let's get into the movie you tried to get into earlier. What are we talking about?
I have Nobody. I saw this in the theater. Director Alea. I'm not sure. I already spoiled it. I can't say this name.
Nice Schuler.
Whew. Well, anywho, so we have Bob Odenkirk. He plays Hutch Mansell. He's just a ordinary guy. He has a couple of kids, a good wife. He has a job he doesn't really care for that much, but he's going through life and he enjoys his family. We don't really know, but in his past, he used to kill people really well.
Ooh.
And he finds himself in a situation where his ego is hit a little bit when his home is robbed, and he had the opportunity to protect his family with violence and chose to back off. His son doesn't really think he is that cool anymore. A lot of people gave him some crud for not being an action hero.
Punked out.
But he has his reasons to subdue. When he gets on a bus where he sees an incident where a young woman was going to get hurt and a lot of people were harassed, he decides to be the action hero he is, and he kicks butt, putting some people in the hospital. Some people die. Unfortunately, one of the people in the hospital is part of the Russian mafia, and now he is a target.
This sounds very familiar.
Bob, I guess he trained for this for 2 years. I had no idea. And it plays out pretty much like the classic, got to protect the family, got to do what you can do.
Every John Wick movie.
It pretty much
The
is.
Russian mob is coming to his house.
I feel a little Liam Neeson in this, but I think it was fun. In this case, the story was pretty much...
You've seen this movie before.
I've seen it a billion times.
You've seen this movie.
But I liked it. I did.
And one of the things that you skipped over that I really liked, though, was the tipping point that changed him. Was one of these burglars, he thought took his daughter's kitty cat bracelet.
Oh yeah.
And so he went out looking for that bracelet. Like he was fine with everything until his daughter's like, "Where's my bracelet? Did they take my bracelet?" And he's like, "That's it." And he goes and tracks them down and offers his first glimpse of extreme violence. And then when he has to kind of stop, he has to stop himself short. It's like the dam opened, and he goes out looking for trouble on that bus ride. Like he's hoping these guys get on the bus.
I think in that circumstance that brought a little humor in. There isn't too much humor, but it feels more lighthearted throughout this whole movie, revolving around certain.
Yeah, and the one thing I like that because it's written by the guys who wrote John Wick. It's very much every John Wick movie. There's speakeasies that he goes to where guys like, you're back on the job again, huh? Here, I got some info for you. It's very much, but it adds some wrinkles. Like his father, played by Christopher Lloyd, brilliant.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Seems to have kind of gotten him into this life years ago, and it's kind of always been rooting for him to return to it. So as soon as he's like, I gotta go back to work, his dad's like, let's do it, let's go. I like that. He also has a brother who he keeps in contact with through some weird two-way radio.
Yeah.
And his brother doesn't really want to get drawn into it, but then when he does, that's a lot of fun. So you have this family element.
I think it's those quirky little moments like him sitting in there listening to his 70s radio and stuff, and all of a sudden hearing his brother. And Christopher Lloyd is just a quirky character ever since he started acting.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that. I liked how his dad just kind of wakes up mentally in a retirement home to kill someone.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun. It was original and
I mean, it's standard issue bad guys. Yulian, who's the head of the mob, this part of the Russian mob.
Yeah.
He could have been anybody.
Really?
Like all of these guys are just standard issue
And they do
Russian gangsters.
heavy foreshadowing when you see this Russian mob guy who's an older gentleman all of a sudden just kick everybody's butt, and you're like, they're going to square off in the end.
I did enjoy like the use of really unassuming music as insane action is intensifying when they're just playing like Motown hits, and stuff like that, like really lighthearted Everly Brothers music as things are going on. And because he's a very unassuming looking guy. And all of a sudden Louis Armstrong is playing in the background. Like what a wonderful world as he's just snapping necks.
And I've seen that done in other films as well, but it adds a quirkiness, it makes it lighthearted, makes it really digestible.
Yeah, I agree. What did you end up giving Nobody?
I give it a 3.5.
There you go. I gave it 3 stars. It's fun. It's good. 3.5 stars. How about that? I was wrong. 3.5 stars is what I gave it. It's a good film. I like Bob Odenkirk. He's fun in pretty much everything he does.
And I just learned today that he doesn't like people. He told me that. Yeah.
Not a people guy.
I did not know that. He looks likable.
Sir, let's move ahead by looking back. We're picking up where we left off last week with our Movie Throwback series, the nearly best pictures of the previous years. And we are talking about a film that we thought, or at least I did. I chose this one. I thought should have won Best Picture, especially over the film that did. I'm going to 1996 for the movie Fargo. Fargo, arguably the Coen brothers' best film. Like depending
That's
on
a
when,
big list.
I know. Depending on when you ask me, sometimes it's Oh Brother, sometimes it's Big Lebowski, sometimes it's Inside Llewyn Davis, Miller's Cross. Like there's a lot, but this might be their best.
This is the only one that got a TV spinoff show.
That's true. A great spinoff show. Great ensemble cast. Great northern accents. Oh, gee, Marge. Oh, geez. William H. Macy, Frances McDormand, the gang. They're from this regular small town northern folk who get wrapped up in a small crime that unravels into something big and gruesome. You got Steve Buscemi and Peter Stormare as great villains. The classic little guy with the big mouth and the big quiet guy as his partner who just seethes constantly. I love those. And yeah, like you said, it inspired this tremendous series of the same name. Fargo nominated for 7 Oscars this year. It won for Best Actress. Frances McDormand won her first of many Academy Awards. Probably win one this year, too. Best Original Screenplay for the Coen brothers. Lost Best Picture and Best Director. What did it lose to, Mike?
It lost to The English Patient.
Oof.
How many times have you quoted The English Patient? Do you remember The English Patient? I do remember because I did watch it recently.
Yeah.
I have it. I own it. It's in a pack of Oscar movies, like 5 movies that shouldn't have won. I don't know. I think another one in there is Shakespeare in Love.
Sure.
It was just
you bet.
And Shakespeare in Love was okay. It shouldn't have been Best Picture of the year.
Not over Saving Private
English
Ryan.
Patient, I found boring. I cannot watch it again. That year really didn't have a lot of great movies. We had Jerry Maguire, which was also a fantastic movie. There's a couple of memorable ones like Dusk Till Dawn and Cable Guy and stuff like that, but movies that would never win awards. Fargo definitely is the best movie of the year.
It's so good.
It really should have won. English Patient is a mistake.
English Patient was a 2-hour, 42-minute film that was like, at the time, I felt like it was ready-made for Oscar voters of the time. They loved rewarding these big, grand epics. This was kind of, it's got some great performances in it. I think Ralph Fiennes is really good in it. He's a great actor. But it felt like most of that film felt like window dressing to me when I rewatched it. And I don't think it's one of the worst Best Picture winners. There's been some crash. I mean, there's a lot of bad ones, but there was a rough time for Oscars in this stretch where it was Shakespeare in Love, this, American Beauty, films that I felt like these don't hold up. These do not hold up well at all. And they all felt like missteps to me.
I think movies that win that are like this makes people look at the Oscars as pretentious and does not connect with people. And that's probably one of the reasons why people aren't watching this anymore.
Yeah.
It's not representing the viewers anymore.
With
With things like this, not in every case.
Yeah.
Last year, fantastic with Parasite, spot on. Loved Shape of Water, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
no, English Patient was. And there's a running joke in an episode of Seinfeld where they keep going to English Patient. It's like, I'd rather see Sack Lunch.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good. Joel Coen, though, who directed this, the directing half of the brothers, has been nominated for 15 Oscars so far for writing and directing. He won Best Picture and Best Screenplay for No Country for Old Men in 2006. So we got those Oscars.
okay.
But still, Fargo, man. Should have got it. It's a good one. So we highly recommend. If you haven't watched Fargo in a while, check it out. It's fun.
Wait until a warm summer day.
Yeah? I just love, I can't stop talking like them. And I grew up in northern Wisconsin where those are the accents. We're not that far away from it here.
Whenever someone does the Yooper accent,
Yeah.
they are quoting this. It doesn't
for
even have to
sure.
be the words from this movie. They are quoting this movie.
Oh, geez, Terry. You bet. Let's take a look ahead. What is coming soon the weekend of April 9th, sir? I turned to Netflix for a few movies we have. The first one is called Have You Ever Seen Fireflies? It is a Turkish dramedy. I'm not sure how comedic the Turks are, but we'll find out with Have You Ever Seen Fireflies? We also have a South Korean crime drama called Night in Paradise that I'm very interested in. And then, this is right up your alley, Betty. Oh, man. A film called Thunder Force. This is directed by Ben Falcone, directing his wife, once again, Melissa McCarthy. It's the team up that we all know and love. She is joined by Octavia Spencer and Jason Bateman in a movie about superpowered humans. So that's coming out.
Okay.
And I last time they made a movie together, I ranted for quite a bit about how Ben Falcone is terrible for his wife's career. Right back at it. And then in theaters is a film called Voyagers. This is a sci-fi film starring Colin Farrell about a crew on a multi-generational space mission, and they start to descend into madness.
This looks interesting, but I like sci-fi, so.
That was my big complaint about last year. I realized when I put my list together at the end of the year, and I ranked all my movies, that there were 0 sci-fi films that came out in 2020 that I saw. 0. And that's a miss, because usually those are high. I love good, bad, weird, creative sci-fi, and we really didn't get any. We got that South Korean one, but that was this year.
Was Mother?
That was a couple years ago.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The streaming spotlight, we've been doing it for a while, but I feel like last year was just all streaming spotlights.
Yeah. It just missed out. Probably maybe because a lot of it, those sci-fi films are big budget, and they didn't want to give them to it. But yeah, that was something I've been looking forward to. So Voyagers will be coming to your theaters on April 9th. Speaking of theaters, we want to thank our sponsor, Marcus Theaters, the Palace Cinema here in Sun Prairie. Thank you for sponsoring this very program. We are so glad to be back in theaters. Mike went back to a theater.
Yeah, that's my first one.
First one back.
I'm keeping my ticket.
Yeah.
There's nobody on it, and I'm going to frame it.
I love it.
Yeah, I really appreciated being back.
Yeah, for sure. And there's plenty of movies to check out nowadays, and just go on their app and see what they got going on, and all the precautions they have going on. But we appreciate their continued support, and we encourage you to check them out.
So of course I just went to the theater.
Yeah.
I like how you can order your food from your app now. And
They
will bring it to your seat.
It's right there, bang.
That is pretty sweet. So if you don't want to stand in line,
I've tried that at my house. Like I've just sent a text message and be like, bring this to my seat.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work.
No, you have to be at the theater. That's the only way you can enjoy that feature.
I've tried it with my wife and kids, and they don't do it. The Marcus Theaters does. My family, I get a response that says, get off your butt.
Yeah, they probably say other things too.
Yeah, they do. They love me. Next week, sir, we are going to be talking. There's a whole slew of films for us to choose from. Now, we're not going to be covering all of these because we just don't have time for that.
Yeah.
But next week's options, if you are curious, we have Concrete Cowboy on Netflix. That's the Idris Elba film. We have Just Say Yes. We have Sky High. We have The Unholy playing in theaters, which I know you're very excited for.
I'm actually looking forward to this. I'm stoked. It looks fantastic.
I hope it's not too scary.
I hope.
Remember when we went to a really horrifying demonic movie, and lady brought her her 3-year-old kid and left about 10 minutes in?
Yeah. I kind of remember that. Movie wasn't good though.
No, it never is.
No, I don't even remember.
It might have been like Ouija or one of those movies.
Yeah, that was
Yeah. Anyways, it's neither here nor there. The Unholy, we also have Every Breath You Take, and Mike is going to have another throwback, nearly Best Picture film for us to talk about. I hope it's good.
It probably is. It was nominated.
Okay. Well, they never screw up.
Never.
But those are what we're going to be talking about next week. Again, if you want to keep in touch with us, we encourage you to find us on our social media. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Real Reviews TV will get you where you need to be. Come chat with us. Let us know what you thought of Godzilla vs. Kong, or what Oscar winner you thought was a misstep by the Academy. Let us know. The Oscars are coming up soon. We're going to be talking about those in the upcoming weeks as well. But until we do all that, I'm Jamison.
I'm Mike Roth.
Thanks for watching.